I ask y'all as a group individually to give your response to what's the best way to find out what shape the surface is?
Physically measure it.
So measuring the surface, all right, that's Witsit. What about you, Gio?
I would say look at lights in the sky.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. So one measuring the surface, one lights in the sky. Anybody else want to clue in?
Yeah, I think flying helicopters on Mars is way more important.
Okay, flying helicopters, lights in the sky, and measuring the surface.
Wait, can I replace mine? I would say, wait, I want to change mine. Mine is probing Pluto. We can send a probe to Pluto. That's what does it.
Nice.
Why didn't you probe Uranus, though? Seems more lucrative.
I
You
want to say
guys live in
something.
a fantasy cosmology, guys. This is only one part of it. Wait, this is only the beginning. Wait until we get into the cosmological model and we start disseminating things one at a time. This is only the beginning. The sun.
Well, this is I keep calling it, this is the celebrating too early archetype that the Globe team, if you want to call it that, or defense team or whatever, are doing. It's like, you've seen those like clips where the guy, like, he kicks the soccer ball, he thinks it's going in, he turns around, he cheers, the whole crowd is cheering, he's celebrating with his other teammates, and then the ball didn't go in. The ball not, the goalie got it or whatever. It's like and then they end up losing the game, So it's like the celebrating too early, which is obviously a cringe thing in general for people that do that. And it's like, oh, you celebrated too early, dude. You counted your chickens before they hatched. So I think that's what's happening with this. And it's probably going to be a bit. Yeah, they're going to run it in all the news and there's going to be all kinds of stuff. So it's like, instead of just celebrating for like 3 minutes and then realizing the goal went in, this is going to be like, they're going to be celebrating for like maybe 3 months or 6 months or whatever, and then, so it's going to be a much longer process. But yeah, they're just celebrating before anything is actually, before the conclusion, essentially, for them.
Yeah, part of the celebration, though, is what they don't get is part of the exposure going out to the masses. This is what I want. I don't want to say we, right? This exposure is exactly what I want.
Not only that, Nancy, but it moves into the point where we're being forced in to get to the baseline, right? Go out and measure the physical surface, because we've discovered what the lights are doing in the sky, and it doesn't, is inconclusive at best, right? So where do we go from here? And if you answer honestly, measuring the surface, it's weird that more haven't. Like, I think it's strange for anyone to believe in the shape of the Earth if they haven't gone out and at least researched measuring it or measured it themselves. It's no different than just having faith.
Absolutely.
I want to say something quickly. Hold on. Yeah, very quick. Very, very quick. Okay. This is Castro. I'm an admin of the Persian Flat Earth Society. And actually, I warned a lot of these flat earthers, especially Elizabeth, because I know her, not to go down there. The whole thing was a setup for the flat earthers. The Globers, they knew that this is going to be a big problem for the Gleason or the AE map, because they knew about the 24-hour sun over there. No, so we warned all the flat earthers to do not participate in this experiment, because we know what would be the result, and the result would have destroyed all the other flat Earth societies. But these people, they never listen.
What is going on?
And yeah, it's going. It's pretty. Like, this is the thing that we warned you guys many times.
Wait, I'm confused. Why would
I
you
don't know. Many of you guys.
Why would you not want us?
Knew,
why would
we already? Hold on.
Go ahead.
We already knew that there's a symmetry around the equator. If you go to this website called dateandtime.com, and if you choose two opposite point or two opposite location around the equator, for example, minus 20 degrees, positive 20 degrees, and if you compare their day length, you would see there's always a symmetry. Okay, and you could check that out by real people within the 0 to 50 degrees, minus and positive 50 degrees. So what would be the odds? What would it be the odds that this shouldn't be the case down in the Antarctica? Like when you have a symmetry everywhere around the equator, therefore you can easily conclude that, okay, if I go on Antarctica, I would see the exact 24-hour sun that I would see in the Arctic. This
Okay, I
was the
expected to
most
see it. I
stupid.
expected to see it.
Yeah, everyone. No. Okay, if you guys would have expected to see it, then you guys didn't go down there because your attendance had to give credit to this experiment. You guys did a very bad job, and literally, you made our work much more harder. So
Okay,
here's
can
my
I
horse to
respond?
you. Please, what's it? If you're listening to me, bro, please stay away from flat Earth. You're not helping, my brother. Not at all. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, thank you, man. I'm gonna respond now. Okay. I respectfully disagree with you, and I thought about all of this. They were gonna take flat earthers down there with or without me. Okay. So I'm not trying to like, I don't know. I'm not trying to like flex or anything here. I'm just being honest. I literally looked at this as kind of like a selfless decision because there would have just been another flat earther to go. Who knows what they're going to say? Who knows what they're going to do? Who knows if the camera's going to pop on them and they say, yep, it definitely is a globe. Who knows? And the story is too juicy. It's going to make the mainstream news regardless of which flat earthers are there. So in my mind, I thought, what better thing to do than to make it be me as one of the people that are going to be interviewed or on these shows? Because then I can really break down how it doesn't falsify flat Earth. Because if there's someone like I love him, but the guy that's making the documentary who doesn't even understand a lot of like the basic globe arguments and doesn't know much about flat Earth, then it's really a bad look for us. Okay. So it was an unavoidable trip that had been planned for well over a year or for over a year at this point. And I knew that we had to have someone that was an actual flat earther go. Now, you were saying you were trying to tell everyone not to go. Do you honestly think that you would have been able to prevent anyone from going? Or wait, someone who doesn't really think they're flat, but just says they're undecided or says they're flat earther so they can get a free trip because they wanted to go. There could have been any scenario that would have brought other people down here. Okay. Second point is that this is huge publicity for Flat Earth, which has become very stagnant because it exploded and got censored. This is glitching out the censorship. The world needs to hear the reason Flat Earthers exist, like by Flat Earthers. Okay. So they spent almost $500,000. We get final cut on any footage. They can't even use our footage. We can kill their documentary with one word, which is no. And now Flat Earth it's literally like a household conversation right now. So I don't agree with your take.
So, did you know that how many flat earthers we lost? Did you know that how many people in the middle of this thing, the ones who were kind of got a little bit skeptic to the globe, we lost all those people because of you guys. See,
Good.
the problem wasn't about the curvature. The problem was about the movement of the sun. It was about the AE map or the Gleason.
Hang on, guys.
We never
Guys.
had a doubt about curvature, bro.
Hang on, guys.
So what I'm trying to tell you guys is that we knew it. We knew it in the beginning. It would be a 24-hour sun down there because we have a lot of people living in Sydney, in Melbourne, in Australia, and in San Diego. And of course, they have 16-hour sun, they have 15-hour sun. And you guys, when you guys went down to this place, Punta Arenas, you guys had 17 hours day length over there. So what was the point to even go down further?
Because there's a
even
ton of people that thought the 24-hour sun didn't exist, which is incorrect, which means they were believing a lie. And we went down there and fact checked it and documented it to prove it is there so that no longer can flat earthers be duped into claiming that there isn't one.
about?
Witsit was the ideal candidate to go down there and actually be the spokesperson for this cause.
And I don't, and you know my position with it very clearly. I could care less with this, with the end story here. But the bottom line is, all these people that are freaking talking about what they think they know because they've been indoctrinated in school or told by their teacher this is the way it is. Could be on any topic. Could be the vaccines. Could be climate change. Could be anything. He's forcing people to think and to do the research themselves and learn the topics. Witsit knows more about general physics than most astrophysicists that can go in and talk about 20 different subjects. He will be able to talk about and voice his opinion on many topics, not get into the great, down in the weeds, but at the high level. And most people can't. They don't even, they can't even, and this the point is, and I'll summarize with this.
Yeah, Xanax.
They can't, hold on, they can't even describe why the earth is round, how they can show the earth is round. They won't. If you go into an argument with Witsit about this, the general person on the street, recent college graduate, high school graduate, are going to be completely lost. Oh, here's a picture, right? So it's making people understand the application of physics, which I think is amazingly, incredibly great. I think
So you're saying
that this is happening because people are so freaking stupid and can't even freaking determine if the earth is round or flat. At the most basic level of understanding of physics, they can't do it.
This thing, it wasn't about the shape of the earth, okay?
Hang on, I'm next, dude. Hey,
it wasn't about the shape of the earth.
smart guy, I'm clearly next.
All right, well, you're not ad homing him. Who was speaking?
Okay, go on. Okay, go on. I'm finished.
I want to thank Witsit for doing it, and he was a good spokesperson because he said eventually someone would get down there and they might have misrepresented what they saw. He went there and was very honest. He said he saw it, didn't change the paradigm in his mind at all, and I think that was excellent. He's forcing people.
Right.
Yeah.
What was excellent? If you knew how to read figures, hold on. If you wouldn't know how to read figures and charts, you wouldn't go down there. You can go to any website, any software. You could see there's a fucking symmetry around the fucking equator.
It
okay?
doesn't matter.
You guys didn't go down there. You guys didn't go down there.
It doesn't matter. Is this your first day
on Discord, bro?
What do you mean it doesn't matter? What do you mean it doesn't matter? It matters. We lost our faces. We lost our position.
Hey guys, hold on, guys. Everybody has to stop. You guys, it's really important we go one at a time. I know the combo's getting a bit heated. Rakia did want to get in before. We got to figure something out here. So why don't you go ahead, Rakia, and we'll get out once at a time. Kasara, if you're going to say something, you got to say something and then mute your mic because there's other people want to get in too. So, meaning that we just need to go.
You can go to the next. You can go to the next person. I'm good. I'll pass.
Hey, can I say something? All right, cool. I'm gonna say something then. So, the idea that observing the 24-hour sun in Antarctica hurts flat Earth is one of the most dishonest things I've heard anybody say. So, if your idea of flat Earth is built on dishonesty, then you're doing exactly what a lot of these people are accusing us of doing, which is grifting. And I don't understand what your grift is or what your end goal is there. But going down there to observe that is in no way hurtful to anything. So, I just want to say that.
Oh, really? So you're saying that it was a good point for flat Earthers? So you're saying that we didn't lost our faces? So you're saying that we didn't lost our fucking position?
No, Darren on the Australian news looking like an idiot is really a good thing.
Hey, so I'll put it like this. If your faith is that weak that it could be shattered so easily, then you should reconsider your position to begin with.
No. My faith is not weak. They made us look better.
We just knew that there's a symmetry around the equator. It's very easy to understand that. You don't need to go all the way down there. You just need to read. You need to learn. You need to know how to read figures and charts. That's it. This is the same thing that I told Elizabeth, the Flag Gang. I warned her, just don't go down there because after this experiment, and the reason they call it the final experiment. Hold on. By the way, this is the conspiracy. Why they call it the final experiment? This is not a fucking final experiment. This was just a simple experiment, just looking at the sun. It wasn't about anything else. It wasn't about to debunk the whole flat Earth society and community in the whole world. But this apparently happened. And these guys we have to blame these guys.
Hey, we needed Lizbeth because we needed someone to translate Spanish. So she was the only person who knew Spanish. So that's why we needed Lizbeth over Brian.
All right, I got like 10 seconds and then I got to get off. So I'll just say this. Over the past year or so, sitting in here, I have heard many people argue that there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica and that the videos are stitched. And so that was a position that was being maintained and held by many, is that, all the videos from down there were faked and that, there was no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, and so if that was your position and that holds and your belief is held in that for your flat Earth model or your observations of a flat Earth or your belief in a flat Earth, then and now your faith is shooken to the core. That just ties right into what Witsit and Geo were talking a minute ago about how you went from one coping model to another. Basically, you need all the questions, you need all the answers given to you by somebody else. You don't seek them out for yourself. You just parrot what other people say. And now that
No, man.
you've gotten
That's not
Are
what
you
he
are you
said.
listening to me, sir? I told you we knew it.
now that you've
I
got
told you we knew it.
exposed for
Are you
parroting.
deaf?
Hold on. You're
All right,
saying it's about faith. You're saying this one observation is shaking people's faith that the Earth is flat. It's never been about faith.
No, it
The problem
didn't.
is the random people on the street don't know everything about the topic. They just look at the TV and see flat earthers getting embarrassed on the news. So that's clearly
But
not
they
a
weren't
good
going to
thing.
look at flat Earth at all. They weren't going to look at flat Earth at all, though. Those people weren't going to look
That
at
would be
flat Earth
better.
at all. So
Again, now they
now
definitely
they
won't.
have
Now they definitely won't.
time out. Let me say something. I'm about to get in the chat. But now they have to see it. Okay. And whenever these big interviews happen, that when they look this up at all, it's going to pop up. And they're going to hear what flat earthers actually think. Okay. That isn't a bad thing. And if there are people that thought that there wasn't a 24-hour sun, which there were a lot, and thought that was required, then they weren't really flat earthers. They don't understand why the Earth is flat.
True.
Although I will say, I find this guy's map interesting. Do you care to try to explain the 24-hour sun specifically with the map in your profile pic? Did he leave? Okay. Astra, can you explain the 24-hour sun in your profile picture?
Yes, I spoke about the 24-hour sun. I've been doing this for 12 years. We knew about the AE map, the azimuthal equidistant map, is not valid. It does not represent, it doesn't represent the movement of the sun when it comes to the southern part of the world, because the model is a monopole. It doesn't have two poles. For example, if you look at the sky, you can see there's two centers in the sky. You can see there's two counter rotation in the sky. One is in the North Pole, one is in the South Pole. So when you have these two centers in your sky, you can easily concede that there should be two centers on the ground as well. So if you look at my map, probably you guys have seen this map before, which is another flat Earth model, which has two centers. You can easily explain the 24-hour sun over there. And it also can explain the Coriolis effect. It can explain the star trail, the counter rotation of the star trail. It's a pretty it's accurate.
How does
all
the
I'm
sun
trying to tell you guys here, hold on. Okay, go on.
Well, he asked you how the 24-hour sun works on the map.
Yeah,
I guess you did kind of.
Okay, you're looking at my profile.
That's what I want to ask.
That red
Wait, real
line,
quick, because
the red line that you see in my profile.
Yeah, we see that. Sorry, so you're saying it does a figure eight throughout the year? It does a circle.
It makes it figure eights. That's your sun anilema, exactly, and it's a symmetry.
All right, what does it do? Okay, what does it do at the equator? Does it Pac-Man to the other side of the world?
No, it doesn't do the Pac-Man. It just switches up for the 6 months of the year. It will go around the Polaris or North Pole, and then for the first day of fall, it will switches down to the south, and it will go for another 6 months around the South Pole. This is how the sun moves. Hold on,
dude. I asked you how this works.
The exact thing.
You have to change the elevation angle by
Guys, can we please listen? Can we please just let him fully explain it?
Right. So, you guys are talking about the elevation. Yeah, I explained that how the elevation is going to work out in this model. So this model is basically a bipolar model, and we're living in the bipolar world. There's a left and right, man and woman. I don't know, night and day, and there's positive and negative. So of course, the world that we're living on it has to have two poles. So this is the first law of hermetic. If you guys would know about hermetic laws, you would have known about.
Bro, you want to know about how the sun moves in your model, bro? Come on.
So just look at my model. I just drew a red line. That is the Tropic of Capricorn. Now you're gonna have the same circle above the equator, which we call the Tropic of Cancer. These are tropics have the exact same size, which is pretty much the same like what we see in the reality. And in the globe model, in the heliocentric model, we have the same thing. That's why the globe model is so accurate when it comes to the movement of the sun, because these two tropics are the same size. But on the AE map, you guys know that the tropics, they don't have the same, they're not in the same size, right? That was the greatest problem that we had in the AE. A lot of flat earth, real flat earthers, not people without education. For example, I am a lot of people know me. I don't want to introduce myself very well here, but I did in aerospace engineering for 6 years. I've been doing this for 12 years. We dropped the AE model 7 years ago. Okay, and I can post you guys our Instagram page. You can go on our. I'm going to do it right now. Just go there and check out our experiments in this model, and also the simulation that we made. So when this final experiment was going to be done, all we're trying to do is to warn everyone, especially the flat earthers, do not fall in this trap. Because once you guys go down there, you guys gonna see the 24-hour sun, and we're gonna be embarrassed, and we cannot start justifying ourselves anymore because nobody's gonna listen to us after that. And this is the thing, because they have the system, the media.
You
The
just
media
made
is
a
controlled by these people.
yesterday. So
All right, let's just let him finish. Let's just let him finish. Try to wrap it up, and then you can get in again. But you can get in
Keep it
again. But go ahead.
Yeah, because so we warn these flat earthers, do not go down there, because after this experiment, they're gonna use the media. Micktoon is a pretty kind of good person. Professor Dave, I don't know, all of these people, they're gonna use this against all the other societies, and they are doing it right now. It hasn't started yet. They haven't started yet, but they're gonna start it, and you're gonna see that within a couple of months, we're gonna lose all of our credits, our position, and everything that we have been done all these years is gonna be destroyed. And why I'm so mad right now, bro, because we warned these people many times.
All right,
that
you're
there's a
looping, dude.
symmetry.
You're looping.
Okay, there's a symmetry. I'm going to repeat this again. There's a symmetry.
Okay, this is
around
just
this
ridiculous,
year.
Joe. Come on.
I don't know why you're mentioning.
Drop your links, bro. Drop your link.
Because I'm mentioning you because you're the mod, right? So I'm asking him to stop him from monologuing. He's going on a loop.
He's made a point.
He was cooking, bro.
He's an intelligent guy.
What was he cooking? He was saying that he rather stayed in the dark about knowing what the sun does in the south. That's just ridiculous.
We knew
Man.
it wasn't dark.
Hold on,
Why are you interrupting me? We had to stop.
Everybody stop. Listen, this is what's key. We want to keep our points concise enough so the conversation can flow. So Kasara, he did ask you a question. You laid it out, but please try to keep it a bit more concise so we can let other people get in. I'm sure a lot of people want to respond to your points. Let's just get back to it. Somebody who wants to respond, go ahead.
Yeah, so the problem is that, sorry, you want to stay in the dark and forget about whatever's going on and just turn a blind eye, and because you might get embarrassed for being wrong on how the sun works in the south. That's not a problem for us. We've been embarrassed. Since we became flat earthers, we are prone to be embarrassed because we made fun of, we're called dumb, we're called stupid, yada 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 yada. Who gives a shit? As long as we know, okay, there is a 24-hour sun, now we won't make the damn same mistake saying, well, there's no 24-hour sun in the south. That's just ridiculous to me.
Yeah. And his point, Ebo, what he was saying, he already knows it. He already knows this by some of the actions of the sun in the higher latitudes, and that's fine. But he doesn't understand the whole. Your message is perfectly clear. I think I get that. I agree with you, but that makes a lot of sense. Now it's check that box off. It doesn't matter anymore that there's a 24%. We all agree it's other things that you guys are looking at, and that's what.
But he's tried to warn us for the whole time, but he just joined Discord yesterday.
Yeah, where's he been?
Exactly, you've never been seen before.
Yeah, he said evil.
Did he take off already?
No, he's
Can I ask Kazra? You had said originally that you were from a flat Earth society, or you're from some other flat Earth society. You said, or I thought you said that.
I'm just finding this this link for you guys. Okay, I'm from Flat Earth Persian Society. We have 44,000 members, active members. We passed this model 6 years ago. So how can I prove that to you guys? I'm going to drop this link. You guys are going to go to this link, and I want you to look at the date that we released this link, this model. It's 4 years ago. Okay, so it means that. Okay, so it means that we had 2018. It was 2018. Here, I'm gonna do it. Okay. Where should I drop the link?
I just tagged you in the chat.
work
Live stream. I just tagged you. Live stream one text. You should see a notification there. It's right above the voice channel. It says live stream one text. Click on that. You can post up
Did you
there.
guys get it right now? I think I just
No,
dropped it right now.
No, I think you might have
Right.
posted it in the. You posted it in the side chat.
Yeah, go
so
to
you gotta
the,
go live stream one text. It's
he maybe did an audience text. Is that what he did?
no, you did it in the VC side chat, but
Hey,
Can you just do it for me? Can you just copy and paste it
I'll
over there
just
for me? Because I'm not
yeah,
good
I'll
at
do,
that.
yeah,
Thanks.
I'll do it for yeah. That's it. Flat Earth Persian. So it's, you it's called the Flat Earth Persian or Persian Flat Earth Society is the name of it.
Yeah, and I want you to look at the date. I want you to just scroll down the page, go up and down. We made a good simulation using the Stellarium to prove this model, and I want you to just pay attention to the date that we released this model. It's 2018. It's been about 7 years that we passed on this model. So that's if you guys see I'm on heat, is because I don't know. I've never been in Discord before, but in Instagram and in Clubhouse and Twitter, we're always warning, especially in the last 3 months when these guys were making and kind of preparing themselves to go down there. We always kind of warning them just don't go down there. That's it.
What
Why?
area of
Why
aerospace are
again?
you from? What area of aerospace are you from?
I don't see why you think it's negative because it's going to bring. I mean, it gets more information out there. It gets more
What
information out
bro?
there,
They
and
didn't
it
get
brings.
any information. Yeah, we're just looking for the sun movement over there. That was the only information that we were looking. They weren't looking for anything else. Come on, be honest. They just went down there to
Dude,
see the
Castro,
sun.
did
That's
you just
it.
interrupted the server mod, dude? I mean, the server owner
I'm
for that
sorry.
glitch is a server
I'm
mod.
sorry. Okay, sorry. I don't know how. I don't know how to work these.
Evo.
Sorry.
He did do that. I mean,
On
in
silent.
my opinion, he's kind of right. Like it only really benefits the flat earthers, but for everyone else, it kind of works against them. So I feel like it works against the flat earth overall.
Incorrect. Actually, it works for us because the conversation kind of been stale. Everybody's been like, look at this server at the moment because of it. This is just, I mean, this is just ridiculous.
Well, that was my point. It only benefits the flat earthers.
Exactly.
No, you said it hurts the flat earthers. You just said.
No, I mean it benefits the people who already believe the earth is flat, but it damages everybody who could come to it looking at it from an optics perspective, because now they have like a total hit piece against it.
Yeah, like Osco's he said he was like 70% flat, 30% globe. And now he's a glober because of this.
That's fine. I mean, if he thinks that the sky lights in the sky tells you what the ground is, it's just ridiculous. That's his fault for being so. I mean, I know
People are manipulated by
but,
NASA
anyways,
too.
about this supposed model that he created. How does this even work, dude? Like these flights from
Sydney to Santiago,
California to Alaska. I mean to on the other side of Russia, Asia, all kinds of shit. That's just ridiculous. How would that even work? Dude?
It works. You have to go to
it works. Just trust you, man.
Yeah. No, we made an animation. You
trust
just go
me,
to
dude.
the Instagram. It works. Yeah, it works very, very well. Yeah.
Yeah. Explain it. How I ask you, how does
What
it
do you
even
mean?
work? And you just says, dude,
I'm
come on,
telling you.
man.
Okay.
I'm asking you to explain it. Hold on, dude. I'm asking you to explain it. You just tell me it works. That's not explaining it. Please tell me how it goes from California to Russia.
It goes in a circular mode, exactly like the Gleason. So this is like the Gleason map, but the difference is that it's in two parts. Instead of having one bunch of concentric circles, you have two bunch of concentric circles. Okay, you have a bunch of concentric circles above the equator, and you have a bunch of concentric circles below the equator. So these concentric circles are the movement of the sun per day. So if you're asking about how it moves from California to Russia, it goes exactly above these circles, these concentric circles, And as it goes closer to the summer solstice, it will get smaller and smaller. And when it goes to the first day of fall, it will become bigger and bigger. And the first day of fall, it will switch and it goes down. It will make up those concentric circles below the equator. So this is how it works. You got to get this 8 shape around these 2 poles. And this is exactly what you see in the sky. If you go in the equator, if you look at the sun with the course of a year, you're going to see the lower lobe and the bigger lobe of your sun and the lemma are in the same size because the world is symmetrical. We're living in a symmetrical world, and we're living in a bipolar world. The monopole, yeah. So this is the whole thing that we were trying to say before. So if we moved up from the AE to this model, because we knew that we cannot explain the Coriolis effect, we cannot explain the counter rotation of the stars, and also we cannot explain the 24-hour sun.
You have a
This
GIF
is the
of this?
alternative model, okay? This is the alternative way that you can do that. Trust me. I want you guys to trust
You're
me.
not a concaver, right?
So, Kazra, I'm looking at your picture. I see the equator. Sun sets in the west, and it would rise in the east. On your map, the sun would have to teleport across the entire Earth.
No, it doesn't go in that straight line. You didn't get the whole point. That's why I told you. Go into the Instagram page, scroll down, scroll up. You can see the animation. We use the Stellarium software to simulate this whole thing.
I think what it would have to do there, Jesse. Hold on, real quick. Elbow did ask about flight paths, which you didn't address. That's fine, though. I mean, obviously, there's a whole lots of discussions that could be had. We were kind of talking about the overall status of things in the world and everything going on with this. So we could get into all the different details of things. But one thing I was going to say, just with that model, I think Jesse, what he's saying in terms of that part of it, is that the sun wouldn't really have to Pac-Man. That's why I asked him that originally. It wouldn't have to necessarily Pac-Man from one side or the other. I think the idea would be that if you have like the rotation on the northern half, the rotation on the southern half, right when it gets to the equator, it would transition. So it wouldn't really have to go straight in Pac-Man. It would just be making the loops in the south, gets really close to the equator, and then right at that equinox, it just, the challenge with that though is that now it's on the equator. Let's say it's coming from the south, it's at the equator. Now it doesn't have to pass Pac-Man with a straight line, but it's now going to start going to the northern, and so that's like a majorly different sun GP path. You know what I mean? Like when it's in the south and it's going at the equator right before it's at the equator, right before the equinox, and then it's still curving off to the left, it's still looping, doing that. And then when would it then transition into the north? And then the paths of the sun on the water, you know, going like west from Ecuador, you know, from the equator would be dramatically different, right? The paths?
Yeah, it will switch one day, exactly. In one day, those equinox that you say, the sun, instead of going downwards, it will go upwards. It's not going to be that much difference. You guys not going to understand that. None of us going to understand that. The people who living in the equator, like in Kenya or in Florida, they're going to see like the equinox. They're going to see the sun will come from east to west. Let's say it's the first day of fall. We're heading to the first day, to the winter solstice. So when the sun is coming from east to west, instead of going upwards, it will switch it. It goes downwards. That's the whole thing, and it will create that analemma shape. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna draw a line for you guys to see how this thing is gonna work out. If you guys are lazy to go to the Instagram page and scroll down up and down and trying to see the simulation based on the Stellarium software, I'm gonna do it for you guys. Anyway, I don't want to fight with anyone. I'm trying to say that like we lost, like from behalf of the flat earthers. Because I've been to this shit for many years. Okay, I just spent my life, spent a lot of time,
Can we address
money,
some? Can
everything.
we address some stuff? This guy's like,
Yeah, let's address some of the things, dude. But all right, yeah, you gotta, if you can, try to keep it somewhat more concise because it's a lot of points. But I was just gonna say from the earlier point, I was just gonna say that you cannot kill the truth. You cannot suppress it. So even if you can suppress it, but you can't kill it, as it were. So I'm just saying, like, you're trying to say it's all bad, but like even if they run in the media with everything they can about the sun and about flat earthers and about everything, that doesn't make the truth vanish. Like they've been using media and NASA and all kinds of stuff to deceive people for decades. You think this one little thing is going to crush everything? Because you were saying before how bad it is. I just want to comment on that because they can't stop the truth. It's going to continue to be a conversation. People are going to continue to even learn more information. I hear you. Some of the mainstream might laugh and say, "Ha ha! Oh my God, they proved them wrong." Okay, but that doesn't mean that it's going to stop the actual truth from coming out.
We know what it means because they call it the final experiment. You need to understand that this is a very, very heavy word that they took it. That's why I'm telling you the whole thing was a
Nobody
conspiracy.
believes that.
You didn't get the point. It's not a minor thing.
Wait,
that
time out.
happened.
Let me say something. I don't have much time. I have an interview at 10 minutes. Duffy himself, the guy in charge of it, has now changed what he says about it and says it doesn't disprove flat Earth. It disproves the AE map. So when the owner of it himself is interviewed, he's going to say that. That's what he's been saying the whole time. So cool, because if the AE map's wrong, good riddance. And if there were flat Earth societies that were pushing it, they're wrong. Okay. So we need to move past it. And this is just going to shake up the conversation and force people to actually figure stuff out. It's a positive. Gio said the most important thing, which Jaron had just said, which is that you can't kill the truth. If it's the truth, it's the truth. If your model is, let me finish, bro. Let me finish.
Oh.
If your model is the truth, then this will only help that out, okay? And I know you're upset I went. You're telling me to stay away from flat Earth. Buddy, I've been debanked and stuff. There's a 0% chance that an individual is going to tell me to stop talking about this. So if you would like to work with me prior to, because I'm just going to tell you up front, I'm going to take the interviews. It was actually part of the plan the whole time. So if you would like to work with me and think you have sufficient answers prior to the beginning of the year, after the holidays, so that I can be equipped with some of what you're saying, I'm happy to work with you. That sounds awesome. I'm happy to look at your model. I will do that. Okay. Otherwise, if I can't just listen to you continually repeat that it's all over and all this like black pill nonsense. There were people that were wrong. We were being misled with the model that was created for us. We need to move past it. And if we have to do it this way, that's fine. Because flat Earth is now being talked about across the world. Okay, so we clearly disagree on that point, and I would hope that if you're actually a truther, you would be open to working with me and working with us, helping us understand the concept, making sure that you can equip me with some of the information you think has helped verify it before I am now interviewed about this.
The interviews were planned the whole time?
No, but it's just obvious that they're going to come. So I was supposed to go on Candace Owens, debating McToon before the trip. Candace got sick, lost her voice, and then they had to push it back. She goes to the UK every year with her family, so she said that it'd have to be beginning of the year. So that was known. It was supposed to happen before the trip, but now it's been known it's going to happen after. Just that one occurrence is going to cause many other ones. And of course, I went to my DMs a second ago, and they're flooded with people asking me to come on their podcast. So who would not have known that would happen? Of course that's going to happen. That's a good thing, though. That's good.
I said it from the beginning. Exactly what happened now. Exactly.
When people come in and they're like, "There's nothing new in flat Earth," it's like, well, here you go. This is pretty new.
Yeah.
In terms of all of the huge wave of attraction, I guess it hasn't really been hitting much mainstream stuff in a while. And we've been talking, was this going to hit mainstream? But it looks like it is. I mean, there was that one Australian news thing, but yeah. So I mean, it's going to bring a lot of eyes to it and make people.
But Gio, think about this, bro. They're running the narrative that flat Earth has already been disproven and been debunked and all this stuff. Obviously not, right? Because this is now throwing it back into the conscious of people that, oh no, it's definitely not over. There's still a huge amount of people that say the Earth is flat. We can't make the mainstream news. I was telling Jaron that we're at war, okay? And so if we have to lose a few people that were weak and didn't understand flat Earth, fine, we're at war. And if we have to get humiliated temporarily, fine, we're at war, right? And you have to think about it like a war or art of war and think, okay, they're not going to honestly represent us in the mainstream, so we trap them into doing it. We like used their tactics against them, and now they're going to let the world hear our actual position. They're going to hear all about it. So that's where we're at, right? That the only alternative is that we don't get to be heard at all.
Candace and Q.
Yeah, the humiliation ritual we knew was incoming. We said it from the beginning. Like there was no way that they were going to represent this fairly, right? The whole thing was the preacher putting out money to bring prominent flat earthers to show them that there is a 24-hour sun and then ridicule them. This was all discussed and talked about. I mean, it's not a surprise.
I just want to say that
my prediction with the AE model came true. They faked the 24-hour sun down there, so the AE model is still viable. Just saying, this was my prediction.
And see, there you go. So there's going to be lines in the sand. You're going to get people. Wait, is that what you're saying your position is?
I mean, I still like the AE model. Like when I see the sun go by during the winter, like it slowly goes farther and farther down during the winter. Then during the summer, it comes up and up slowly. For you guys to tell me all these different models where the sun does a figure 8, but it just slowly goes like a little bit farther to the sun, like to the lower in the horizon, and then higher, like
it does
towards
that.
me, above me.
It does that.
That's not going to work on any of these models where like the sun is doing 24 hours in Antarctica. That's ridiculous. Like,
Quick question, Witsit, is your interview going to be live or just recorded?
I think he had to go.
Was
Yeah, he
that
left.
QI?
Yeah,
Yeah, Q-Up's
he's sick.
What is wrong with your
I got
voice,
Candace
bro?
Owens virus.
They
He's
caught
just
the same
fighting.
virus because
He's
So,
he's
he
so
gets
QI,
viruses.
with this model that this dude just showed, it's still going slowly. It's just when it gets to the equator, it starts going the other way, but it's still going slowly in and out to the tropics and back. It's actually a model I was trying to think of. I couldn't figure out one part of it, and this looks like it does figure it out. Like I had a feeling that Australia, Africa, and South America all had to be on one side, and that's what this does. But it keeps like the bipolar structure to it. It actually looks pretty promising, honestly. I got to look at it a lot more, but I kind of like it.
It's not it's not new though. We've been talking about it for quite a while. It's not, but I'm just saying it's not a new model. It's a projection.
What is it? What's it called? Do you know what
Which
it's
one?
called, Gio? The one this guy has on his Instagram.
The new version of flat Earth model. You can call it that way.
If you look at if you look at map projections, there's a bunch of them. So there's the Lambert azimuthal equal area from 1772. That's pretty much the one that he has in his. There's the American polyconic. There's a bunch that like similar in a way. I was jokingly like this one I'm posting. I was jokingly calling it butt Earth. Oh God, someone's spam blasted. Please. He just posted 7,000 things. All right, let me just repost it. Anyways, this one is called the, I was jokingly calling it butt Earth or whatever. This one's called the American polyconic projection. So yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of projections that are sort of Mercator-like, but also bring the kind of field lines in terms of the latitude and longitude and kind of arrange it like that.
And Gio, I'm sorry, I wasn't spamming.
Okay,
I was just dropping the links for the mainstream news that are reporting this what happened in Antarctica. My bad.
No, it's all good. It's just blasted real quick. Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
Or on our end, yours showed up later than his.
Oh, okay.
But on your screen, it showed up before.
So what I meant before about a line in the sand is like there seems to be people like the line in the sand thing is kind of fitting because it's like, okay, everybody was on the sand and now there's a line. It's like 24-hour sun or no 24-hour sun. And then what the view is. I just saw another one, P-Brain just came out. I haven't watched the video yet, but I think he's saying that it's not a, that the trip's not legitimate or whatever. So I'm just saying there's going to be like, this just seems like, yeah, there's like the thing about the line in the sand. It's like, all right, who's on that side? Who's on this side? Now, I'm not saying that to try to be like in any way divisive or say that people need to go to other sides of the line or whatever. I'm just saying that things are going to fall probably on both quote unquote sides. Like there will be globe Earth folks, even in the mainstream, that will open up to stationary planar Earth. There will be globe folks in the mainstream that will go harder against, flat Earth, as it were. There would be people and vice versa. People on the flat Earth side that are going to want to go either back to a globe or have some kind of trying to call everyone who thinks there is a 24-hour sun that they're all shills or whatever. It's gonna. I'm just saying, I won't go. You know what I mean? There's gonna be like on both sides. There's gonna be both things happening on both, and so that's.
I would say.
Can I just quickly ask? I'm not against or for anything, right? I personally haven't been there, but I have expected a 24-hour sun and there was one. Anyways, Is there a reason given why they haven't live streamed the whole thing at least one day, fully, 24 hours?
Bandwidth issues mainly.
Mark
And somebody
Harmon
did. Yeah.
Yeah, Candace Owens, producer, did run it for the first, like, what was it, 10 or 12 hours or something. And then I guess, like, I heard the whole explanation, like his phone, like I guess they did a big, like, there was like an update that was done on like the Starlink side where it was done at like 3 a.m, like, their time or whatever. That's when Starlink would maybe do that because when most people are sleeping. Anyway, so there was like a huge update, and then there was also like an update on his phone. So I don't know, apparently that was the thing with that. But I mean, they had Starlink, but I think they were somewhat limited. Like they didn't just have like perfect internet.
Okay, I mean that's plausible. So that's just that is the story given, right? I'm not. See, I'm just objectively asking. No bad intentions. I just wanted to know that. Yeah. Okay. Well,
They did a lot of live
you.
streams from there. They did a lot of live streams from there, and they filmed a ton of
Yeah,
the sun.
The ones that I saw were only always like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. So
There's a couple.
I'm just asking this because I heard someone, I'm not sure who was it anymore. I think it was Witsit, but somebody promised it's gonna be like 24 hours live streamed. So that's why I'm asking. That's all.
Well, they have 3 days of capturing the sun for a solid 3 days. They also have multiple days where they're like you can view the sunspots. Like they have multiple terabytes
Have
of
the
data.
sunspots come
Like,
out yet? Have they released any of that yet?
it's they're not even back yet.
Yeah, they are. He's about to do an
No,
interview.
he's
They're
in
in
Chile. He's still in Punta Arenas.
So they're not back
Okay.
yet.
He said he was eating chili.
No.
I thought. Oh.
Okay.
No, they're not back yet. He
Didn't
said
he
when he
also
gets
said-
back, they will start working on dropping it. It's multiple terabytes of data just for one of these video files. He's asking
also
for
said he
everyone
was
to
gonna-
help. He's asking for everyone to help to go through all the data. So it's all going to be available.
He also said he was going to do live streams for the people that like donated to him or whatever. Like,
He's already done multiple of those.
Oh, really? Okay, I heard he hadn't. So,
Yes.
all right.
Wait a
Oh,
second.
yes.
I donated.
No,
Well, maybe it's for
It was 40
Kofi.
minutes on Kofi. I saw it.
Yeah, I think you have to be a Ko-fi subscriber, I think, to get that.
Oh, I sent him $50 on PayPal.
But
yeah,
so,
so
I'm
there's-
so I'm not mistaken or anything, but was 24-hour live stream promised, or am I mistaken? I just want to make sure.
They
about
said
that,
It was. You're right. It was.
They said they were going to try to do it. They weren't even sure if they were going to be able to talk to anybody from there or if Starlink would work. It was never promised.
About 8 hours apiece because YouTube wouldn't allow them to do 24 hours at a time, and it just didn't work.
Sounds very
Yeah,
convenient.
I appreciate.
Oh my
the
god.
Convenient. They're in Antarctica.
Okay, I have
You guys
a
are
point.
ridiculous.
I have a
Yeah,
point
that's
that
ridiculous.
has.
That
You guys,
statement alone is ridiculous.
Hold on, but that's what I'm saying. There's going to be different viewpoints on all this, so I think it's worse to be like, "F you, you're out of," you know what I mean? Like, why? It's just like, why create more division? People are going to have different viewpoints, so I'm just saying, does it have to be like pointing fingers and like everybody, you're all out of it, you're out of it? Like, does it have to be that, or can it be? I'm not saying no one's saying out of it, but I'm just saying like. It's tough. We have to somehow find a way to like respect each other's viewpoints and move forward, because otherwise, like, there's just more potential for just more fracturing, I think.
Hey Ben, did you lose your voice too?
Yeah, I lost it like a couple days ago.
Ben caught it too.
I have a point that's entirely separate from this. Like, oh, is there something suspect about the footage or not? Or like, all of that stuff. So, in general, this is being looked at as, oh, this is like a net positive for Flat Earth because it's going to get a bunch of eyes on it. There's going to be a bunch of podcast appearances, a bunch of news stories, and people are going to be talking about it. Whereas this is something that I see in conspiracy spheres in general, just always operating under this idea of like populism, under this delusion that if you get enough people to believe the same thing you do, then eventually you'll reach critical mass and something will happen. Whereas no successful movement in history has ever worked like that. Like there's some level of where the population's opinion kind of matters, but like even if you double or triple the amount of flat earthers, like that doesn't actually intrinsically mean there will be anything positive that will come from that.
Well, I mean, they have the populist whatever that were on a globe. That's the game they're playing. It's the completely convince everyone numbers game, and they've gotten through wars and all kinds of stuff. They've gotten the numbers game, and I mean, it is somewhat of a numbers thing because if there's enough people that were not thinking the Earth's a globe, then maybe more people would start to stand up and be like, "Hey, who's lying to us? What's going on?" And maybe get to the bottom of the corruption. So, I mean, I don't really think of it as some like necessarily a numbers game, but I mean, would you also agree on the other side of that there is something to be said for like even with cannabis, like cannabis didn't really have very many like medical people back in the 60s, 70s, 80s that were really championing for cannabis. So it was just remained illegal. But once they got numbers, more and more people speaking out, and talking about cannabis and doing studies and stuff, then eventually they had to, in some way, it seems like, respond to that. And I'm not to get into a whole topic on that. Some people would have different viewpoints, but I'm just saying, there is like a tipping point to things. And
yeah. I'm gonna avoid that cannabis topic because I don't think there's any way to approach that without diverting into that because everybody has, strong.
Oh, that's
views
a
on
good
that.
topic, actually.
No,
Let me go after Yasuke.
No, we're not going on cannabis.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
you
not
could
trying
go
to
on
shift
cannabis,
it to
but,
that. I was just using it as a little supportive analogy for my point. But go ahead.
Yeah. I would just use the example of like in the UK, right? For the longest time, for the past 50 years, it's been 90+%, up to like 96% of the British population that's against like increasing immigration, just as an example. And nothing has been done about that. And no, there's been the stuff that has gone against the will of the people, of 96% of the people, and it's continuing to get more and more and more against the will of the people, yet nothing changes. It's exactly the same.
Well, what do you think the goal is?
Hold on, if I may. Hold on, Riggs. Hold on. If I may, about the cannabis thing, that's very good because, as Gio said, the government was against the cannabis, right? And then a lot of people started liking it and whatever you want to call it. Now, guess what? The government is selling us the cannabis. You see the relationship here, Yasuke?
I mean,
yes.
I do understand the point that you are making. Yes.
Okay, good.
All right, what do you think the goal is? What do you think our collective goal is? Why are we doing this? Are we doing this intrinsically for ourselves, or because truth is a duty that we are succumbed to because we understand this truth and the implications of it? So I would argue that, yeah. So if you're looking at like numbers and populism, and in that frame of reference, you're thinking, oh, well, maybe we can flip a consensus or something like that. I would never assume such a position. I would never think I have that kind of reach, and I would never think that's the goal. But if we have a duty to God and truth, then we should not be fearing getting it out there. And if, like I tell people every day, like, we have an amazing retention rate. And only more people are going to be exposed to it. Maybe like 1 out of 10 will actually have the cognitive ability to look forward and realize our arguments have merit. And it's only going to increase the snowball. So I'm not here to flip everybody. I'm not here to flip anybody. But by the nature of exposure, it's going to bring more people to our side, good or bad. Because I came into this topic through a hit piece interview, and I had the cognitive ability to challenge my personal beliefs, and it flipped me. I flipped myself, and we need more people like that.
Amen.
Yeah, let me answer what Rick says. Isn't the objective, well, my objective is to get the truth out to as many people as possible? Am I wrong in that? Or are we just here trying to convince each other or a few flat earthers? What's the objective?
Truth.
Well, so Riggs was sort of postulating something to me. Well, I'll answer both of you in this sense. Is that there can be negatives to just throwing as many bodies at something as possible versus trying to go after certain people. If you've ever seen the movie Pursuit of Happiness, the guy's a salesman, and instead of just going down the list of phone calls, he looks at like, all right, this specific person could be somebody that would be way more likely to be a sale. So instead of wasting all of that time, it's being a little bit more targeted and a little bit more like discernment in that it's not that you don't want, just the average person to know, but that there are certain people that if they were let into this and they were made aware that this was true, a single person could be worth, 1,000 like normal people that understand flat Earth.
Right. Like their testimony can go and spread to people from their word of mouth and them like trusting and using the product versus you just kind of showing up to their door and trying to like sales pitch, try to get them to buy into something.
Yeah.
Well,
Whereas also,
this
if
is
you
your problem. This is a framework problem. We're not selling. We're sharing the truth, not a sale. People sell themselves. The truth sells itself. So this analogy about sales is incompatible with this process.
No, it's more the more people that come into it, the more likely you are to get a superstar, so to speak. Someone who can articulate the position very clearly and concisely, which generates more people coming in because it's understood clearer. That's the
whereas
point.
I would actually kind of push back on that specific point is that, if this is something in general that like I have a lot of beef with is there are certain arguments that are used that are just like blatant misunderstandings of the globe and they're just allowed to exist. So if you have so many people that are making poor arguments and being poor representers of the thing that you are trying to champion as an idea, then if anything, that can be sort of a negative. Not every like testimony of a position is a positive testimony. Like if anything, it could push people away that could potentially would have otherwise considered it if it was a little bit more like reasoned and down to earth.
And you know what? I would even argue that 3 idiots would bring more people to flat Earth than like one smart guy. Because the more it enters the collective consciousness, the more that some person is going to say, why the hell do I keep seeing flat earthers everywhere? I thought we settled this. What is this bullshit? And then they're going to go look and they're going to go, oh, okay. So this is about like death by 1,000 cuts, bro. This is not about getting, that cherry fucking phone call with the executive who's going to buy 10,000 of your units. This isn't about that. This is truth embedding itself in every atom of existence. Death by 1,000 atoms, death by 1,000 cuts. Like the truth can't be hidden. It's the only thing that brings people to this direction.
The only thing that hides truth is not being able to articulate it. Like you can know the truth but not be able to articulate it, and in that manner it's hidden within you because you can't give it to anybody in a way to where they can conceive it. That's why that's why even in just the mainstream fields, it's not just the everyday Joe who's explaining physics. It's a guy who has an education who's able to articulate the position. And then the people
you don't have to, like I said, if you have 3 idiots that hit the news, it'll still bring more people to flat Earth because there are people who can articulate, and that content's out there, and we're out here. It's not a problem.
Yeah, but it wasn't 3 idiots that brought everybody into this. It was people who were very
there were more than 3 idiots that brought people into this.
It was Eddie Bravo.
All right, hold up. I think Rusted was trying to get in. If someone wants to get in, we got to try to keep that in mind more so.
No, he said death by 1,000 something, and I just said death by 1,000 mainstream article hit pieces.
So should we plan our own hit pieces now? I mean,
yeah, I would just say like if there's that one super normie YouTube channel that has 10 million subs and it has like a bunch of people sitting in chairs in like a super big professional studio setting. Every time you have one of those that comes out with people that like they can't articulate any arguments and they're essentially just there to be made fun of. There is no positive that comes from that, despite more people being aware of the position. Like, those videos don't do anything despite it getting the idea of flat Earth into people's heads.